find. Her nude, mutilated body had been discarded in a clump of briar bushes in a small park less than 10 yards off a paved pathway. Samson and I approached the body. A boy shouted at us from the other side of the crime tape. Yo, she's just some street whore. Samson and I walked on and joined 2 uniformed cops standing by the body. They were obviously waiting for reinforcements. Apparently, we were it. You call emergency services? I asked the uniforms. 35 minutes ago and counting, said the older-looking of the 2. He was probably in his late 20s, sporting an attempted mustache, and trying to look as if he were experienced at scenes like this one. That figures, I shook my head. You find any ID anywhere around here? No ID. We looked around in the bushes, nothing but the body, said the younger one. And the body's seen better days. He was perspiring badly, and looked a little sick. I put on latex gloves and bent down over the corpse. She did appear to be in her mid to late teens. The girl's throat had been slit from ear to ear. Her face was badly slashed. So were the soles of her feet, which seemed odd. She'd been stabbed a dozen or more times in her chest and stomach. I pushed open her legs. I saw something that made me sick. A metal handle was barely visible between her legs. I was almost sure it was a knife, and that it had been driven all the way into her vagina. Samson crouched and looked at me. What are you thinking, Alex? Another one? I shook my head, shrugged my shoulders. Maybe, but she's an addict, John. Tracks on her arms and legs, probably behind her knees and under her arms. Our boy doesn't usually go after addicts. He practices safe sex. The murder's brutal, though. That fits the style. You see the metal handle? Samson nodded. He didn't miss much. Clothes, he said. Where the hell they go to? We need to find the clothes. Somebody in the neighborhood probably stripped them off her already, said the young uniform. There was a lot of disturbance around the body, several footprints in the dirt. That's how it goes around here. Nobody seems to care. We're here, I said to him. We care. We're here for all the Jane Does.
Geoffrey Shafer was so happy he almost couldn't hide it from his family. He had to keep from laughing out loud as he kissed his wife, Lucy, on the cheek. He caught a whiff of her Chanel No. 5 perfume, then tasted the brittle dryness of her lips as he kissed her again. They were standing around like statues in the elegant gallery hall of the large Georgian house in Kalorama. The children had been summoned to say goodbye to him. His wife, the former Lucy Rees Cousins, was ash-blonde, her sparkling green eyes even brighter than the Bulgarian spark jewellery that she always wore. Slender, still a beauty of sorts at 37, Lucy had attended Newnham College at Cambridge for 2 years before they were married. She read useless poetry and literary novels and spent most of her free time at equally pointless lunches, shopping with her expatriate girlfriends, going to polo matches or sailing. Occasionally Shafer sailed with her. He'd been a very good sailor once upon a time. Lucy had been considered a prize catch, and he supposed that she still would be for some men. Well, they could have her skinny, bony arse and all the passionless sex they could stomach. Shafer hoisted up his 4-year-old twins, Tricia and Erica, one in each arm, 2 mirror images of their mother. He'd have sold the twins for the price of a postage stamp. He hugged the girls and laughed like the good papa he always pretended to be. Then he formally shook 12-year-old Robert's hand. The debate being waged in the house was over whether Robert should be sent back to England for boarding school, perhaps to Winchester, where his grandfather had gone. Shafer gave his son a crisp military salute. Once upon a time, Colonel Geoffrey Shafer had been a soldier. Only Robert seemed to remember that part of his father's life now. I'm only going away to London for a few days, and this is work, not a holiday. I'm not planning to spend my nights at the Athenaeum or anything like that, he told his family. He was smiling jovially, the way they expected him to be. Try and have some fun while you're away, Dad. Have some laughs. God knows you deserve it, Robert said, talking in the lower octave man-to-man's voice that he seemed to be adopting lately. Bye, Daddy! Bye, Daddy! The twins chorused shrilly, making Shafer want to throw them against the walls. Shafer wasn't actually going to London. He had a much better plan for the weekend. He was going to play his fantasy game, right here in Washington. He sped due east rather than towards Washington's Dulles airport, feeling as if a tremendously burdensome weight had been lifted. God, he hated his perfect English family, and even more their claustrophobic life here in America. Shafer's own family back in England had been perfect as well. He had 2 older brothers, and they'd both been excellent students, model youths. His father had been a military attaché, and the family had travelled around the globe until he was 12, when they returned to England and settled in Guildford, about half an hour outside London. Once there, Shafer began to expand on the schoolboy mischief he'd practised since he was 8. The centre of Guildford contained several historic buildings, and he set out to gleefully deface all of them. He began with the Abbot's Hospital, where his grandmother was dying. He painted obscenities on the walls. Then he moved on to the Guildford Castle, Guildhall, the Royal Grammar School, and Guildford Cathedral. He scrawled more obscene words and splashed large penises in bright colours. He had no idea why he took such joy in ruining beautiful things, but he did. He loved it. And he especially loved not getting caught. Shafer was eventually sent to school at Rugby, where the pranks continued, and then he attended St. John's College, where he concentrated on philosophy, Japanese...